I'm going to try and make a fishing arrowhead out of the handle of a spoon, because it seems such a waste only to use part of the spoon. So I thought I'd give it a go. This being my first time at doing this, sort of learning as I go. So whether I'm doing the right part first or not at the moment, I don't know. We'll give it a go. Getting it started seems to be a... There we go. It doesn't look too bad. I thought it was going off in a different direction there for a minute, but it looks so it actually went where I wanted it. Wonders will never cease. So there's the beginning of a fishing arrowhead. Now I have to figure what on earth I'm going to do the rest of it. How I can get it down to where I want it. Could be I don't have to do anything. Could be all I need to do is to use a cold chisel and bring those barbs out. That would certainly give me more room to work on the rest of this if I want to take this down. So we might try that. See if I can find my cold chisels. Alright, let's just see how we go. I'm going to do this on wood because I don't want to damage the cold chisel too much in my anvil. Yeah, it worked on that one. And it's bent it a bit, so I'll have to do the other side now anyway. Let's see what that does. Oh, come on, stay still. Well, it works pretty well. Must admit they're looking more uneven now I've done that. So if it looks better when I've finished it than it does when I'm halfway through it. Oh, let's see how we go. Alright, gives us a bit more room, not a lot. Using a small bastard file here, it takes it off a bit quicker. I'll use a finer one later. Just using a half round file. Try and get underneath that barb. It seems to be doing a good job. There's no historical perspective to this particularly. It's this is just me making arrowheads for my own use. Right, down to using my needle files again. Slow work, but does the job. I'm just going to try and sharpen these up a bit with the file first, and I'll do it on stone later. Well, there's the finished head. I have to say it's not as good as I hoped it would turn out, but I suppose for a first attempt. However, I think I'm better than that. I'm not quite sure where I went wrong, but you can see the barbs are a different size for a start, and I did follow the lines. However, I think it's a pretty good first attempt. I'll see how I go on the next one. I think it at least has made good use of the handle of the spoon. So I've now got two heads. And there's that one. I think that's probably the better of the two. Just going to cut the notch a bit deeper. See how I go. This notch was already cut, and not as deep. I had it. I had a bone arrowhead fitted to it, and rather than wait till I could get some more, make another shaft. That'll have to come later. I'll figured I'd use the shaft I had. That's my nose deceives me, that's pine. Just going to put a bit of beeswax in here. I've got some in the house, but I picked this up on just up the track here, straight out of a beehive. I'm going to put it on here because I think it'll help it stick in place a bit while I'm binding it. Don't know, it's worth a try. Certainly stiffer to push in. It works very well. I mean, it works with the fingers very well. the shaft. Okay, like this. As you can see, that the beeswaxing does help. I've waxed the thread and waxed the arrow. I just hope I've allowed enough to go to the end. It's starting to look as though it's too short already. I think it is. Okay, let's not go too far. Let's give ourselves a lot more line. Again, leave the loop up by the head. Press the thread down into the wax so it stays there. And start binding. Pulling this pretty tight, so I have to steady the arrow shaft with my other hand, stop myself from breaking the shaft. And this time I'm going to have plenty of thread left over, too much, but I'd have too much than not enough. It's just the way of it. Well, it's not going to be that much more, is it? When you look at it. Now I'm now binding it onto the arrow shaft itself. I might just as well, since I've got plenty of thread. Okay. Now, before I use up too much thread, we poke that in through that loop. Okay, can you see that? That's the piece I've been binding. Okay, and now I'm going to pass it through that loop that I left before. Okay, now I take this end of the thread and I pull it back. And that loop slowly goes back into there and pulls tight. Okay, now that's locked. That's locked that bit of thread. I don't think I can pull it in any further, it's pretty tight. So I'll just get out my knife. I don't want to cut it too short, that'll do, just there. And I'll stick it back on the beeswax like that. And that's it, because the other end, as I say, is attached to the bow. It will be. Doesn't have to be very long because I'm not going to be shooting long distances at fish.